All right, let's jump right into this explainer and unpack Section 7, the State Management Directory Tree. If you've ever built a complex React app, you already know how fast managing data can turn into an absolute tangled mess. So today, we're looking at a definitive list of 7 tools that act as a complete roadmap for solving exactly that problem.
We'll be navigating this exact sequence today. First, the State Management Directory. Then we'll look at the foundation, move on to the heavyweights, explore the atomic siblings, and finally wrap things up at the reactive branch.
So let's kick things off with part 1, the State Management Directory, and really unpack Section 7.
What is absolutely fascinating about this exact directory tree is that it represents the whole spectrum of modern state management. You've got this clean, straight sequence of 7 distinct paths, ranging from built-in React hooks all the way to highly specialized third-party libraries. It's a complete architectural landscape laid out right in front of us.
Moving on to Section 2, let's talk about the foundation, featuring the Context API and Use Reducer. Sitting right at the very top of our directory, the first branch on the tree is the Context API. You know this one. It's React's built-in solution designed specifically for passing data deep down the component tree. It is literally your primary defense against prop drilling, letting you share global data like UI themes or auth states without having to manually pass those props through every single intermediate component.
Moving immediately down the branch, we hit Use Reducer. Now, this is another fundamental built-in hook, but it serves a slightly different purpose. It's built for handling complex, localized state logic that goes beyond a standard use state hook. If your state relies on complex object mutations, Use Reducer brings a really nice, structured, action-driven approach to that component-level data.
So, why do these two sit side by side at the very top of our list? Well, they form our foundational baseline because they are entirely native to React. You don't need to install any external libraries for these. They give you an out-of-the-box toolkit to manage data flow before you ever reach for a third-party dependency.
That brings us deeper into the directory to Section 3, the heavyweights, covering Redux Toolkit and Zustand.
At the third branch down, we find Redux Toolkit. This is the big one, right? The industry-standard, opinionated way to handle massive global state and enterprise-level apps. Redux has definitely been around the block, and this toolkit version modernizes it. It gives you a robust, highly predictable state container that really shines when your app reaches a significant scale.
But what if you're looking at that and thinking, Redux just requires way too much boilerplate for your specific project? Let's look at the very next option down the tree.
Enter Zustand, anchoring the dead center of our 7-tool directory at branch number 4. It's essentially the modern, lightweight, hook-based alternative to Redux. It gives you that heavyweight global store power, but completely strips away the heavy boilerplate. It's super unopinionated, making it a huge favor for devs who just want a fast, scalable store without jumping through all those architectural hoops.
As we keep moving down, we shift paradigms in Section 4, the Atomic Siblings, featuring Jotai and Recoil.
Branch number 5 brings us to Jotai. This tool takes a beautifully minimalist approach to what we call atomic state management. Basically, it lets you declare pieces of state as individual atoms that tie perfectly into the React component lifecycle. It's fantastic for minimizing unnecessary re-renders because components only subscribe to the exact atoms they actually need.
Right underneath that, at the 6th branch, we have Recoil. Originally built as Facebook's experimental atomic library, Recoil is engineered specifically to scale up incredibly complex UI states. It handles derived state and asynchronous queries with absolute ease, making it a total powerhouse for data-intensive frontends.
Seeing Jotai and Recoil side by side like this brilliantly illustrates a very specific architectural choice: the atom-based state paradigm. By breaking state down into granular pieces instead of using one monolithic store, these parallel options are both perfect for highly dynamic apps that need extremely granular UI updates. Finally, we reach the trailing edge of our entire tree with Section 5, the reactive branch, featuring MobX.
The 7th and final branch, visually distinct because it actually closes out the directory structure, is MobX. It stands entirely on its own here because of its unique reactive nature. Unlike the previous 6 tools that rely on immutable state, MobX uses mutable state and observables. You literally just modify the state directly, and MobX automatically tracks those changes and instantly updates only the components that depend on that specific data. It's pretty amazing.
Zooming out, we can see the full narrative of this Section 7 landscape exactly as it was laid out. We've journeyed from React's built-in foundations, scaled up to the robust external heavyweights, gotten highly granular with the atomic siblings, and finished off with a completely unique reactive model.
It is a complete toolkit for literally any architectural challenge you might run into.
So I'll leave you with this thought as we wrap up this explainer. Looking at these 7 distinct paths, ranging from native hooks to granular atoms and reactive observables, which branch will your next project climb? Understanding these distinct approaches makes choosing your path so much easier. Thanks for joining me today.